You're the number one person whose reaction I wanted when I saw these universities come out, college after college, to say, we believe in free speech. We would never interfere. You know, these pro-Palestinian students on the campuses chanting from the river to the sea. We don't get involved in that because we're a place for learning, not really for judging. It's such a lie, Greg.
Yeah, no, I've been doing this for 22 years, and to watch universities suddenly discover free speech and even talk about institutional neutrality when it relates to, you know, the Hamas's horrifying attacks, is almost comedic. Now, if they really mean it this time, that they believe in free speech and neutrality from this point on, swell, but you have to forgive me for being super cynical and skeptical, because just like at 9/11, when they saw the threats as coming from off campus, they suddenly discover free speech and academic freedom. When the threat comes from on campus, which is most of the time, it's activist students, administrators play a huge role, and sometimes, embarrassingly enough, professors themselves, they always cave. So I think this newfound commitment to free speech is probably going to last like 3 weeks.
Yeah, like 2 minutes. But I'm looking forward to holding them to it. You know, I mean, when Claudine Gay, the president of Harvard, came out on her third try after she'd been shamed by the previous dean, Lauren Summers, and finally said, okay, no, we're really committed to free speech. I said, you know what, bullshit. And I cited your organization because I know they were last. Harvard was last.
Dead last in our campus free speech ranking, and boy, did they earn that ranking. People were like, no, that's a stunt. I'm like, no, it's based on 13 factors, the largest study of student free speech opinion ever conducted, and 4 massive databases.
My God. So that was my first point. My second point was, but you know what? Let's go with it. Let's take her at her word. Terrific. Welcome to the party, Claudine. Great to have you here. Looking forward to you enforcing this when the, women's rights activists want to march on Harvard saying a man can't become a woman. There's only one thing that's a woman and it doesn't involve a man, right? Or the people who want to push back on the BLM radicals and so on. Like, I can't wait to see her commitment then.
Well, and of course, people say she just started, so you should give her a chance. But I'm pretty sure she was one of the people involved in the prosecution of Roland Fryer, who was one of the people who showed evidence that the racial disparity in shooting is not actually what most people think. And then, ta-da! Just like cancel culture works, suddenly he's being investigated for something unrelated, which is not a coincidence. And meanwhile, it was just, I think, last year where Carol Hooven, who is in our book. Carol Hooven is a brilliant person. She's a lovely person. She was on Fox News to talk about her book, Testosterone. She went on and she gave a stirring talk about being compassionate towards trans people, using their pronouns, all of this kind of stuff. But then she said, biological sex is real, and we do our students a disservice, and we do science a disservice if we pretend this isn't true. And immediately, of course, a DEI administrator started calling her out. And then you started having student petitions, oftentimes encouraged by administrators. Her friends abandoned her, not all of them, but some of them. And only people like Steve Pinker came out, who's an author and one of our advisory committee people who really believes in freedom of speech, came out to defend her. But a healthy university, everybody would have come out to defend her, especially the university president. So Harvard, to say the least, it will take years to convince me that Harvard has really changed its ways. And they're not going to get off the hook just because they said the right thing in a bad circumstance once.
Well, you mentioned DEI, and technically these people who we've spent so much money on at all these universities, never mind corporations, should be the people to be cracking down on this. Aren't they there to protect minority voices and make sure that people aren't harmed by violent rhetoric? Right? We've been hearing all this stuff. Well, Jews are the minority. They are a minority. They're only 2% of America. So they're going to be a minority on any college campus. And yet we're not seeing even the Biden administration, as it creates like its little task force, say, you know what, we're going to put this through the DEI administrators at Harvard and Brown and Penn and Stanford. No, they know very well the DEI administrators won't help this particular minority.
Well, yeah, and that's something that we talk about a lot in our book, because I think because of my first book, or my last book, Coddling the American Mind, people think that what Haidt and I are saying is that for most of my career until 2013, like the bad guys were administrators, and then the bad guys, like the censors, and then suddenly 2014, it became the students. That's not really what happened. Now it's the administrators working with the students that has created this absolute disaster for free speech. And I want to be clear here. The last 5-6 years for academic freedom have been disastrous. And watching people who suddenly think that their jobs might be on the line, suddenly like, oh my God, this is accountability culture, but not the kind that I like, but completely unaware of the fact that this has been going on at a disastrous level for years now. I want every single one of them to either purchase themselves or have purchased for them a copy of Counseling of the American Mind, where we put all the evidence to make the point that in the last 50 years, we have not seen the threat to academic freedom of the likes of cancel culture. It even claimed more professors than McCarthyism did.
Some people take CBD for better sleep or less stress and more calm. Some take it for pain relief, better energy, or better focus and concentration. Today, I want to tell you about CB Distillery and their over 2 million satisfied customers. According to a poll of their customers, 90% reported that they sleep better with CBD. 81% said CBD helps with stress, and 80% said CBD helps with aches and pains after physical activity. If you struggle to get a good night's sleep, if you're dealing with too much stress and could use a little calm in your life, if you suffer from pain and discomfort, especially after physical exercise, you could give CBD a try from cbdistillery.com. Use my 20% discount by visiting cbdistillery.com and entering my initials MK to get that discount. No prescription is required. cbdistillery.com, promo code MK for 20% off. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.